to traverse the globe. The church says that the earth is flat, but I know that it's round. Taking an extraordinary trip that no one thought was possible, I was able to substantiate my crazy theory. Ingeniously, I was motivated enough to get people to believe in my plan to create a new route around the world. After many setbacks, my crew and I eventually found the Pacific Ocean. When I died, that didn't stop my crew from accomplishing the mission and making history. The earth was round. My entire life could be considered an adventure. Around 1480 in Portugal, I was born into a family of lower nobility. Living with my family, which included my brother and sister, Isabella and Diogo, I had a content childhood until my parents devastatingly died when I was only 10. Splendidly, I rose to become a page in King John II's royal court. While I resided there, I was supplied with nourishing food and suitable clothing. For 10 years, I went to sea and fought for Portugal. I heard about the Moluccas, or the Spice Islands, where one can make a fortune by importing spices which were worth their weight in gold. I had to go. In order to take the trip, I needed an investor, so I asked the King of Portugal if he would fund the expedition. The king rudely said no while insulting me. He told me I could get help from any other country for all he cared. I had heard Balboa's description of El Mar del Sur, the South Sea, and rumors of a passage through South America called El Paso. I went to King Charles I of Spain, who was only 18, fascinating the young monarch with a handmade leather globe and the route I planned to take using only Spanish waters. I got King Charles to fund the expedition. There was a big adventure ahead of me. My ship, the Trinidad, was one of 5 ships that made up the Armada de Molucca, and all of them were small, less than 80 feet long. When the hypocritical king of Portugal found out that Spain was paying for my expedition, he was enraged. The king announced that I was a traitor and sent Portuguese ships to capture me. Thankfully, I was able to evade them as I prepared for my massive trip. Finding captains was hard. I wanted Portuguese captains who I had sailed with in the past, but I had to settle for 3 Spanish men who were maliciously plotting to kill me for the undeserved wealth that they thought I would earn. Since I didn't want to scare the 237 members of my crew, I didn't tell them the proposed route or how long the trip would take. It took more than a year to find the rumored El Paso because we had to stay on land for 5 months during the winter along the eastern coast during the winter. Along the eastern coast of South America, the Santiago, one of my 5 ships, crashed against rocks and was lost, leaving only 4 ships to voyage on. The Armada found El Paso. Above the passage towered 1,000-foot-tall walls of granite. I named it the Strait of All Saints. When we entered the strait, it was like a maze of rock and water. The ship split into 2 groups, which went in different directions. Once my ship was out of sight, the San Antonio turned tail and fled back to Spain. It was the largest of the ships and held the most food and supplies. The Armada de Molucca was down to 3 ships. I had many discoveries I still had to make on my expedition. It took 38 difficult days to make it through the tip of South America. Finding Balboa's South Sea, I named it the Pacific Ocean because it looked so peaceful. I thought it would only take 3 or 4 more days to get to the Moluccas across the ocean. I was wrong. My lengthy journey around the world was not over yet. It took 99 days to find any type of land. We landed on the Philippines and tried to convert the islanders to Christianity. When they refused my religion, I recruited 60 men to battle them. In the ferocious fight that followed, I was killed. This is where the 3rd ship of the fleet was lost. My crew burned the Conception rather than relinquishing it to our enemies. In 1521, the 2 remaining ships made it to the Spice Islands without me. They filled both ships with clothes and started their trip home. Rather than risk a journey through more unknown waters, the Trinidad, which had been my ship, turned back to sail towards Spain and the way they had come. Unluckily, they didn't make it. Only one ship made it back to Spain. In December of 1521, 18 original crew members aboard the Victoria safely made it into port with enough clothes to pay off our debt. Their journey was approximately 27,000 miles in all. My investors and everyone who heard about the voyage considered it a monumental failure because it didn't make much profit and hundreds of people died. They didn't realize how important my discoveries would be to history. My early life equipped me to dream about a trip around the world. While my journey was long, I did eventually find the rumored passage through South America. Traveling in the opposite direction, my crew, who barely made it, reached my ultimate goal to get a ship to the Spice Islands and back to Spain. Sadly, I was not there to witness it because of my untimely death. What a shame. Above all, the most important thing to remember is that my crew members were the first men to traverse the globe, even though at the time no one thought it was possible. Thank you.
Well done, Brett. Ferdinand Magellan.